What are your hunger broke meals? Okay, I have a favorite. Where would you rather be from? Okay, so I'd love to be from the USA. They have amazing food. They have amazing opportunities. First of all, can you just start at opportunities? Just a privilege to be able to be near to creatives, to be near to everyone that has a better chance. Being from Namibia, being from Africa in general doesn't give you as many opportunities as the USA. So I would honestly love. Plus they have amazing food, junk food, vegan food. So yeah. Okay. How do you get in your way of success? I procrastinate severely. I have a big problem with procrastination because the majority of the time I find myself being quite tired and I put things off. I don't know for what, I don't know why I do it, but I do it. And I put the little things off, such as like finishing poems or writing down ideas and being a bit more efficient in my day-to-day life and being more, just being more fluid within my movements. But I'd rather be sleeping and being inefficient because I'm comfortable and I'm within my own space, and I think that's something that's important to me. What are your hunger broke meals? Okay, I have a favorite because I always eat it. It's not even a hunger broke meal, but I don't know, I have a weird taste in food. So it's rice cooked very, very soft to the extent where it's like, it's kind of like pap, but it's not because it's still rice. And then you're gonna add butter to it. Obviously it's vegan butter, but yeah. That, and then you're gonna add like a banana spice and vinegar, the brown vinegar. It's a good thing. It's really, try it. Don't knock it till you try it. It's a thing.
Okay, so what's the worst thing you ever eaten?
Brussels sprouts. Oh God, they're worse than in day-to-day life. They're portrayed as something that's disgusting, and they are. They were so much more nasty than I thought they were going to be. Because I genuinely thought, because I'm vegan, I'm gonna like it. I didn't like it. It was so bad. Okay? And are you living a meaningful life? To be honest, no, I don't. I don't think I'm living life to the potential as to where I would prefer. I kind of live life in stages. I kind of accept life for what it is and the position that I'm in or the experiences that I've been through and experienced. So I take it as it comes rather than planning to do things that mean more to me. I just kind of live life and take what it gives me in that moment or within that time span or frame.
Cool. So, how would you want to live your life? Like to say, like, I'm living my life to the fullest. Like, what are certain things that you'll be doing to say, like, I am at that stage?
The only thing that make me happy, having the freedom to do things that make me happy, in specific. Oh, okay, we're gonna leave that. Specifically, I do things such as writing more, spending more time on self-love, spending more time in figuring out who I am, trying to unlock my chakras and just meditate more, do the small things that feed my spirit, that make my spirit happy. I think that's what's going to make my life a more meaningful life. Just to know that there is self-love and a foundation of self-love in everything I do, and self-understanding to the extent where I know I exude this presence where there is divine intention, and my aura allows for my place in the universe to be validated. Although I have self-validation, I think that it's the smaller things that need to be kind of picked at until you are happy with it, and that takes time. So kind of doing things like that would give me a bit of a more meaningful life and do things that would make me happier, per se. Okay, moving on. What's the meanest thing someone has ever said to you? I've realized that in day-to-day society, in day-to-day life, people have become more harsh and people have become more blunt and insincere and insensitive towards how people feel. And I address that in such a factor that people have said things like just kill yourself, or things that have just really, really put me down on my consciousness towards how I look or how I feel. But someone has said you should just kill yourself or just end it all, quote unquote, kind of. And it did hurt me. And I do wish that someone hadn't said that, but I'm someone who kind of brushes things off. So I cared very little towards it, because external opinions will never validate internal feelings. And I felt that that was something that I needed to understand before I started overanalyzing and overthinking about a phrase that will never add to my life, said by someone else who holds no importance or a higher stature within my life. So that was kind of the meanest thing, but I took away from that to just remember that the only opinion about my life that will ever really matter is my own, and I stand to that, and I stand in who I am, and I stand in the person that I'm growing into and am in this moment. Because my past self, I love her because she has fought so hard to get me to where I am today, the confidence that I have. Although I lack a lot thereof, there is still something there, and that is something I had to build on, something I had to take time to build with. So it teaches you, the little things teach you. So yeah. And then moving on. Are you usually early or late? I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. Like I said in one of the previous questions, what am I doing that's standing in my way towards whatever it may be? I'm always late. My punctuality isn't my strong suit. It's never really been my strong suit. I don't think it's ever gonna be my strong suit, but it's never intentional. I'm very oblivious when it comes to time. Because once I get into my own space, once I'm okay, once I'm settled, nothing else matters. Irrespective of whether I'm early or late, irrespective of whether I have somewhere to be or whether I don't. I'm going to concentrate on myself in that moment and give myself the much needed attention that I need, because living in such a mean society, in a very insensitive, a very harsh, and a very cruel society, there are moments where you need to take time to yourself, and I take that time every day because I feel that it's important. Moving on. What should a mirror opposite of yourself be like? A mirror opposite. They should be like a mirror opposite. That's about it. Honestly, I wouldn't like my mirror opposite, because there would be a lot more hatred, aggression, and that person would hold so much animosity towards life because of the experiences, and I've had to accept that so that I can grow. Instead of having this ever-present stagnancy in life, I've had to grow, and that mirror opposite would kind of accept that stagnancy, and that's kind of something big. So I don't know what they'd be like, but I'm pretty sure I would like them very much. Okay. That's the one responsibility you wish you never had. Okay, that's a really deep question. Thinking about that is life. Really, life is a responsibility that you did not ask for. And I take that with a grain of salt. That I didn't ask for that, but it was given to me. It was something that was put on my shoulders and something I have to live with. I still believe that my spirit chose this universe and that I chose this time to be alive. And although I wish I hadn't, there is still this responsibility I take on, and it isn't one that I've taken on with much fondness, but it's still there. But I just kind of wish that I had more of a choice when it came to it. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna shuffle these. Not shuffle, but we're gonna run through them. Okay. If you can make a 20-second call to yourself at any point in your life, present or future, when will it be and what will you say? Okay. It would be right now I don't know. It would be right now to me at any point in time. Whether it's me tomorrow, whether it is me in 30 years, it would be to me at any point in time. Because I want to remind myself that I'm beautiful, that I'm worthy, and that I acknowledge my own presence. And when I say I acknowledge my own presence, I mean it in such a way that I know that I'm here, I'm present, and that I matter. Irrespective of what anyone else has to say, at least I matter, and to have myself, and to have that opinion, and to have that knowledge given to me and shared, that love shared from myself, from my past, it'll make me move forward with more self-love. It'll make me move forward with more self-acceptance, and just to hear that I'm trying in my past, it would make me more present and more appreciative and more grateful. What's your deal breaker in a relationship? Ooh, that's a nice question. What is my deal breaker? Okay, I'm not a very picky person. I'm very accepting. So there's very few things you can do to make it a deal breaker, but one deal breaker is when the relationship becomes toxic and unhealthy or anything of that sort. So the moment I become aware of anything that is toxic in the relationship, that continues to grow and something that we can't really work on, or something that doesn't want to be worked on, whether it be by myself or to the other person, because I also acknowledge that I can be a toxic person to someone else, and for the bettering of their mental health and the importance of their mental health, I think that I must also accept that. So where I see that something cannot be worked on, or there's refusal to work on, I think that's definitely a deal breaker for me, because if we can't work on something now before it gets big, what happens when something big comes up and we can't work through that, then that, yeah. So there's very few things. I accept everyone as they are because they're their own spirit, they're their own spirit that inhabits a vessel, and I can't be picky with who that person is and is growing into, but I do acknowledge the person for who they are, and I accept the differences that we hold, and I love those differences that we hold. Do you keep the numbers of your exes? Yes, I do. Because I feel it's important, if you guys are okay, obviously if my ex and I had a bit of a messy breakup and it was something that wasn't really healthy, then I don't think I keep the number. But the exes where we ended on a bit of a rocky note, and sometimes relationships do end like on a rocky note, I still keep the numbers. I think it's important because at one point in time this person meant so much to me, and I don't think that a messy breakup is going to kind of rip that care that was apparent, that love that was there, apart. And I don't think it's a valid enough reason for it to happen. So I keep their numbers to make sure that my availability is still there, to know that there's still someone that they can turn to. Obviously also taking into consideration that if it's not a healthy type of thing where this person just abuses my availability and my openness that is present in their lives, then obviously I do take steps towards ending that and kind of terminating that energy source that just kind of sucking life out of me. But I do keep my exit numbers just to make sure that they know one person is still there and that the love is still there. I think that's important too. How do you survive your depression? I cry a lot. I cry a lot, and I isolate myself a lot because that is my coping mechanism. I fear vulnerability, so I retract back into myself, and then I just stay put for a long time until I feel that the bit of energy that I regained, I can kind of use that to be more social today and to have that bit of just to be there. I feel like that's also important because many people like me and have taken a liking to me. So I sometimes do it for everyone else to just know that I'm there, irrespective of whether I have my problems, I'm there for other people. And I sort of cope through other people because as long as you're smiling and I made your day and I made you feel better, I think that it'll make me feel better, and that's therefore how I cope. Through isolation, through crying, through looking at myself and trying to better myself, through trying to spend time with myself and teach myself to love myself and that it's okay to not be okay. Through that is how I teach myself to cope with my depression. And then our last one, what do you take for granted? The lifespan of people and how quickly someone can be taken away from me. And I reference this to people who are so important to me, such as my best friend, close friends, and specifically to 3 people. The 3 people who are so important to me help me get along in day-to-day life and help me kind of just in every shape or form. They have helped me stay alive. They have helped me cope. They have helped me remain grounded. And I forget sometimes that there, in any moment, in any instant in time, that can be snatched away from me. And I will never have that close bond where there is divine intention, there is divine connections, and there is genuineness and appreciation and gratefulness and love and so on and so forth. Just that one connection, that one bond that is so important can be taken away from me, and I take that for granted. And I take their life for granted. I'm Kxvlyn, my Instagram being Kxvlyn, exchange the E for an X. Go subscribe to Troy Square on YouTube and the same on all other social medias.